Hello everyone, welcome back to Urban Legends, the stories we still believe. Throughout the series we've been looking at mirror rituals, the myths and the legends, and the unsettling encounters people still claim to have experienced. And tonight, we're stepping into one of the most haunting stories of them all. The Lady in White. She appears in tales from all over the world, sometimes as a grieving bride, waiting for a lover who never returns, and other times as a heartbroken mother, forever searching for her child which she has lost. Tragic, beautiful, heartbreaking. But not every lady in white is here for comfort. Some versions warn of something else wearing her sorrow like a mask. A presence that waits behind the glass patiently for someone curious enough to call her name. So where does the legend of the Lady in White come from? Well, she is not just tied to one country or one story or one culture. She appears almost everywhere. Different names and different tragedies. However, the image still stays the same. A woman who's dressed in white, who is pale, sorrowful, and connected to loss. In some of the stories, she's a bride who died on her wedding day. In others, she is a mother who drowned herself after losing her child. Some say she searches endlessly for the life that she was denied. So, why white, you may be asking? Well, in traditional terms, white is a symbol of purity, innocence, and mourning. However, in ghost stories, that white dress becomes something else entirely. An image of love turned into an omen of death. Now, what about global sightings and variations? The legend of the Lady in White appears worldwide in different countries, which makes it more unsettling. In the UK, many know her as the Lady of the Lake, and she is usually seen near lakes or rivers, usually linked to a drowning origin. Whereas in Mexico, she is known as La Llorona, who appears as a weeping woman in search for her children, one of the most feared night apparitions. And then in the USA, she is known as the White Lady of Union Cemetery. It was a sighting in Connecticut of a ghostly bride who is seen on roads and near graveyards. These spirits appear near water, bridges, long roads, abandoned houses even. However, one detail repeats more than people realise. Many sightings happen near mirrors. So, mirrors have always been more than simple reflections. For centuries, people believed that a mirror could hold something, such as memories, energy, and even spirits. Long before electricity, or modern superstition, Mirrors were treated with caution. They were covered after a death in a house, but not for respect, but out of fear. The belief was chilling. If a mirror remained uncovered, the spirit of the dead could become trapped inside. So, imagine a woman who died in anguish, a bride abandoned, a grieving mother, a soul unable to rest. Folklore says a death filled with heartbreak leaves an imprint, a stain that clings to the mirror and never leaves. And those who claim to see the lady in white don't just see her, they feel her. A sudden cold in the room, the sense of someone standing right behind you, a reflection that moves differently to your own. Some say the lady in white first appears in mirrors because that is where her sorrow lives, waiting for someone vulnerable enough, curious enough to let her through. And if it's true that mirrors really do hold the emotions of those who died before them, then the wrong mirror in the wrong house with the wrong history may not be reflecting you at all. So now let's discuss when grief becomes a haunting. Grief is one of the most powerful human emotions. It clings to places, to objects, and sometimes, according to legend, it clings to reflections. The Lady in White isn't just a ghost story. At its core, it's a tale of a sorrow so overwhelming it refuses to stay buried. Many folklore researchers believe that spirits tied to tragedy aren't haunting. They're remembering, repeating the moment that shattered them again and again and again. For the Lady in White, that moment is almost always lost. A lover, a child, a life never lived. And when a legend repeats across cultures, across time, with the same emotional core, it starts to feel less like a story and more like a scar left on humanity itself. The Lady in White is rarely described as angry. She isn't vengeful like other legends. She is heartbroken, and heartbreak is harder to escape than fear. Fear burns quickly, grief lingers. People often think ghosts appear in mirrors because mirrors are portals. But another theory suggests something more psychological. Mirrors show us ourselves, but also what we've lost. Grief changes how we see our reflection. Our eyes look different. Something feels missing. Some believe the Lady in White appears not to scare you, but because she recognises the grief in your eyes. And if that legend is true, then she doesn't haunt mirrors to frighten us. She appears because she sees someone who understands her pain. Whether she is a spirit bound to heartbreak, a warning about the dangers of obsessive love, or simply the echo of a tragedy repeated through time, the Lady in White isn't just seen, she is felt, as mentioned earlier. So, the Lady in White endures because her story speaks to something painfully human. Love, loss, heartbreak, and the hope that someone might still be waiting on the other side of sorrow. Whether she's a spirit trapped in grief, a warning carried through generations, or a reflection of her own unresolved pain, one thing remains the same. We see her because on some level, we recognise her. Grief doesn't always vanish when life moves forward. Sometimes it just changes shape. And the legends we tell carry it for us. If you ever looked into a mirror and felt that strange pull, that moment where you don't quite recognise the person staring back, some say that's when she notices you too. There's one more part of this legend we haven't explored yet. Stories say that the Lady in White doesn't just appear in lonely roads or old halls. Some claim she can find you through a mirror if you know the right ritual or the wrong one. And those who try it don't always see a ghost. Sometimes they see themselves the way she did the night her life shattered. If a reflection ever feels like it's watching you back, don't look away too quickly. Grief is patient. Next time on Urban Legends, the stories we still believe.